down to lack of accountability. So I just hope that we have an election which is going to be free, fair, acceptable, and citizens can elect their representatives. And the expectation is way too high, as Mr. Dr. Razak mentioned very correctly. The expectation is a sky-high expectation from everybody. The audience sitting here, they would like to see a good capital market. The players in the capital market are all waiting to see that the capital market restores its proper and appropriate order. So the stakeholders in the capital market can play their role, which has been again absent for God knows over a decade. And capital market is so important because I sometimes wonder how the economy has come this far, why the capital market is non-functional in Bangladesh. And the borrowing has been from the high street banks, all the borrowings, practically. Capital market hardly anything, very little to offer. So high street banks with short-term deposit and long-term lending is a total mismatch of fund, as you all know very well. And what we see today with the financial sector, one big issue is, I feel very strongly, because the capital market did not function. Everybody ended up with high street banks and borrowed right, left, and center. Some were used for the industry or the business. Some were laundered out of the country. And the banks are in, and the financial sector is in total doldrum. So, if I just give a comparison, I think you guys know better than me that market cap in the US is double the size of US GDP. Market cap in our neighboring country, India, I think it's about 60% of GDP. Market cap in Pakistan, I think it's around 40% of GDP. And what is the market cap GDP ratio in Bangladesh? I think around 5-6%. Less than 10%, single digit figure. Without even a functional capital market. So we have to really make sure the capital market works in the future. And it's not just for the private sector borrowing. Even the government, I think sometimes I wonder why we ran after IMF for $4 billion fund with a long list of conditions. I mean, honestly, if the capital market was functioning properly in Bangladesh, it's not just the private sector, not the corporate borrowing. The government can always go to the market as well. And in many countries like local governments, city corporations, municipalities, they go to the market, they float municipal bonds, and they finance their projects. And here also, Bangladesh government can also go to the capital market and borrow. Like buying aircrafts. I mean, we don't have a market to borrow. Railways, city corporations, as I mentioned, there are many government agencies who can easily go to the market and borrow, and government itself can float the sovereign bonds. And of late, we have been talking to some international banking system like JP Morgan. So imagine JP Morgan floating a bond for Bangladesh, which is not an impossibility. I think they're looking at Bangladesh right now and they're quite happy to do it, provided, of course, we create the environment for that, and which is possible. So, the products that needs to be floated in the market, capital market, is something that we can seriously think of in the future. I can assure you that there are a lot of fund managers around the world. Some of them are Bangladeshi origin fund managers. They're looking at Bangladesh very seriously. They're just waiting for Bangladesh to create the environment in the capital market. And very rightly, somebody mentioned the reform program. Of course, we have to go for that. We have been saying it day in, day out. That Bangladesh has to go for serious reform programs, deregulation. This country is over-regulated. I'm saying it quite regularly. Bangladesh is over-regulated economically. We have to go for serious deregulation, liberalization. Ease of doing business, we rank at the bottom right now. Cost of doing business is high. How can you be competitive, as Dr. Razak has been saying, with the LDC graduation, if you don't have the capacity building? If ease of doing business is not good, if the cost of doing business is so high as it is today, LDC graduation is going to be a really difficult proposition for Bangladesh. So these things has to be looked at. We have to go for serious reforms, deregulation, liberalization. And as I said, Bangladesh, in the future, the prospect with the Chinese facing the tariff, with the Vietnamese and others at reaching the saturation points in the comparative advantage issues, with many other countries facing similar problems, we stand in a very good position. And I tell you, investors are looking into Bangladesh very, very seriously. They're visiting Bangladesh every day. They're looking at Bangladesh investment scenario seriously, but all waiting for the election to be held. So everything is put on hold right now. Everybody is saying, when is your election? And we'll wait till the election. Until after the election, they have, as I said, everyday visitors are coming, but not investing, just waiting for the election. So let us hope and pray that the election takes place on the 12th of February. We can all cast your vote. Every time in the past, whenever we had anything like this, so that the topic of election came up, I always ask the audience, how many have you voted? Nobody raised their hands, you know. So next time round, when we meet like this, I'm going to ask the same question. And I hope all of you can raise your hand, say that, yes, we have voted. We have elected our representative. So we'd like to come to a situation like that. If we get the confidence in the government, whom we have voted, who is accountable to you, I'm sure the investors at home and investors from abroad, they will have the same confidence. If we don't have a confidence in our own government, how do you expect the investors at home and abroad to have this confidence in the government and government policies and policy consistency, which have been missing in Bangladesh? Because nobody is accountable and nobody was made accountable. So we have to have a government which is elected, accountable, and they should be continue to be made accountable, not just the election date and election result.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I'll go to Mr. Atikur Rahman, but before that I can say Mr.